Welcome back to the Money Wisdom Podcast, powered by Johnson Brunetti. My name is Jake Dozer, certified financial planner in our Connecticut area, joined as always by Nick Colantuno. Nick is a certified financial planner as well in our Boston office area. We're catching you, or you're catching us, in the fourth of our 4 installations regarding the Johnson Brunetti process. When someone is interested in working with us and wants a second opinion or help building from ground zero, their retirement plan, what does it look like, and what's the process that we help folks through? We take things one step at a time, and so there's a few meetings that come along with us. Just to recap, if you haven't caught up on these old episodes, if you haven't, be sure to check out the page, whether it be on your podcast platform or on YouTube or whatever it may be. Check those episodes out. But meeting number 1 is discovery. We're looking to understand what someone's ideal retirement looks like. We're understanding from a dream perspective, what do you want to dream forward? What are the concerns that you have? What things do you know are working well, or you're not so sure? What's not working well? Where do we need to go from here? The second meeting is our money map review. In this meeting, we're looking to understand where you're at versus where you need to be, and how do we move forward? In our third meeting, after someone's become a client, this is plan implementation, or retirement plan building, we call it. This is where we're taking you logistically from where you were to where we need to be. We're readjusting your investments to go from growth only mode, which is I'm 10 years away plus from retirement, to I'm about to interact with my money on a different basis. So I'm now in income mode. So you need different buckets aligned with different objectives so that you're not treating all your money as one lump sum, but rather giving purpose to each part of your money so that it's intentionally invested based on how you're going to use it. The fourth and final episode that we're going to record is about that final meeting and that initial process. We call it a review number 1. And the number 1 is alluding to the fact that this is the beginning of an ongoing relationship where we're going to be guiding you both now and into the future on the changes that you should make as you live in and through retirement. So with that being said, this fourth and final meeting, as we launch a relationship, Nick, where do we go from here? What are the things that we're looking to cover in this meeting?
Well, the first thing, Jake, is just making sure that the folks we're working with have a very clear and understandable view of what their plan is. You think about the fact that we've gone from, a situation where, maybe we met someone at a dinner, to a situation where now we are trusted with being stewards of their wealth for, hopefully generations to come. So we go a long way in a short period of time, but it's because the folks we're working with are also being faced with a number of changes that they want to get out in front of. So, a lot is often happening. Money's moving, accounts are changing, different investment strategies are getting implemented. Now we're starting to draw income. And again, this is all, just sort of general stuff that we're talking about here, Jake. But, keep in mind, everyone we're working with finds themselves, while they're all in the phase of life where they're planning for a world in which they're no longer working and no longer saving, they're all at different steps in that process. So, for someone in this meeting who is working with us, yet they're not yet retired, maybe they're working for another 10 years. That's where we're reviewing. Well, remember, you're still working, you're still saving, you're still contributing to the 401ks or the 403bs. So we're still, although we're planning for retirement, maybe we're still, focused a little more on those growth buckets. Contrary to that, maybe we've got some folks who are with us and they're already retired, and, all the money they have is all the money they'll have. And we're reviewing the plans we put in place because now the game plan is income and tax planning and safety. So wherever you are in that phase of retirement planning, this meeting is our opportunity to review what we've set up, why we've set it up, what the different goals and objectives and time horizons are with those different buckets. And it also allows us to answer some questions that I'm sure you all will have, as far as, I got this email for registering for online access for this account. How do I do that? Or how do I link my bank so that it shows up on this account? Or maybe I've got, this bucket of money with this financial institution and this bucket of money with this financial institution. First of all, those 2 buckets might be in different places, but if they're all part of the same plan, you need to know that they're talking to one another. Mm-hmm. So, how do you link those 2 things so that they all show up on the same page? So, there's some logistical things that we walk through there, but also there's some more high level financial planning strategies that we're now able to get get talking on with clients, things like Roth conversion or gifting, or more along the lines of the estate planning? Or does it make sense to shift your contributions from, pre-tax to Roth within your 401k if you're still working? So, now that someone's a client, now that we've built their plan, now that we know that part of the process is good to go, well, now we can work on continuing to build on this excellent foundation that we've put in place for the folks that we're working with.
Retirement isn't just about stopping work. It's about starting the life you want. Make sure you're ready with your free Are You Ready to Retire starter kit. Text the word KIT, K-I-T, to 800-757-0436. Text KIT to 800-757-0436 and take the first step toward a future you're excited about.
And that's right. There's this implementation idea where we need to change your investments from where they're at to where they need to be, from a risk perspective, from a fund perspective, from an efficiency perspective, et cetera. But that's not where our relationship exits. That's really the beginning of our relationship. And really the value that Johnson Brunetti provides is not in one-time changes. It's on an ongoing relationship. Is when we're looking to work with folks, we've implemented those changes. We're showing you what those look like, both conceptually and logistically, both what purposes are they serving, and how do I view them, and what does this mean for me? But going forward, how are we going to adjust these things based on different stages of life that we're in? As Nick mentioned, there's certain things that from a tax planning perspective, for instance, those are not one-time pieces of advice that we give. Those are year-by-year conversations as the tax law changes and your income changes and your circumstance changes and how you use your money. Those are changes we're implementing and adjusting year by year. The same is true for your income plan. Generally speaking, we have different buckets that are geared for different objectives, but different market conditions or different life changes could change the way you access your money. And so we need to coach you on what those changes might look like, both casting vision forward, but also in the moment. Where are we accessing money and why and how? And so on and so forth. We're guiding folks from now and going into the future of how we're going to use this money. The final thing that we want folks to walk away with at this policy or account review and relationship review meeting is now going forward, logistically, how are you going to keep me informed? At this point, we're going to talk about on an ongoing basis, what will our relationship look like as far as meeting frequency, as far as your preference on how to meet, in person, virtual, phone. On top of that, educational events. We are big on education, as you can tell because you're tuned into our podcast. Maybe we're going to arm you with one of our books. Maybe we're going to send you a link to subscribe to our podcast. But more often than not, we're going to start inviting you to educational events. In the spring and the fall, almost every year, we host we call it Retirement Simplified. It's almost a State of the Union. What's going on in the market, and what does this mean behind the scenes, and how does it inform the changes that Johnson Brunetti is making in my portfolio? We'll invite you to things like coming up in May 1st here in Connecticut. We're calling our Road to Retirement event, where we're going to be hosting a panel of financial advisors. We'll be having a CPA, a senior living consultant, a Medicare agent, an estate planning attorney, all coming together to give a sense of what the retirement roadmap looks like beyond just the investments and the usage of your money, but everything else. What are all the other professionals with whom we can link you to make sure that your plan is holistically in sync as possible? Those are the types of things that we want to arm you with going forward, not just day-to-day, how's things going with my accounts? Are they up or down? But also big picture, how are we keeping you informed so that you know that we will be watching every step of the way to keep your best interest in mind? I hope this series has been helpful. I hope getting a sense of what the Johnson Brunetti process looks like gives you some peace of mind to know that you can call in or send us a message or reach out in some way for you to come in and for us to guide you through those concerns you have so that you can walk away knowing I'm okay. I'm going to be able to retire when I want to and enjoy the retirement lifestyle that I've dreamed ahead for. Again, this is Jake and Nick with Johnson Brunetti. Thank you for tuning in to the Money Wisdom Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial LLC.